Yo, what up? It's Raphael, NBA Draft Junkies. I got my brother in the house with me today. What up, James?
What's up?
We're about to do this power forward list. James, he in the house with us right now. So, he always got his own perspective and how he does things. He got his own way of evaluating players. So we'll compare his list to my list and we'll get it started. So, James, for your power forward list, who is number 10 on your list?
Number 10 on my list? Well, here's the thing. I combined, to me, power forward isn't power forward of what it was 10 years ago. Right. So it's like the hybrid forward. So let's the hybrid forwards that I have are kind of like everywhere. So you see some small forwards. Like I think Isaac Okoro, he's not 10th, but he'll play some power forward in the NBA, I think.
Okay.
Honestly. I think Jaden McDaniels, even though he's $190, he'll play some power forward. Right. Eventually down the line, he'll move on to small forward. So actually, you know what? I'm more interested to see what do you have 10, where your 10 guys, and I'll offer my perspective.
All right, so we'll just go in order. I'll go number 10, you give me your number 10, and we'll go 9, 10, yada, yada.
Okay.
All right, then I'll go first. So for me at number 10, and I agree with you. I mean, for those that listen to the previous podcast with Joe Gomez, he had his top 10 small forwards. Some of the guys on his list at small forward I had as power forward. So, it's positionless now, but how I base my list is what position I think guys will play in closing lineups if they're going to close games. Okay. So one of the guys, I made a mistake, and I had Patrick Williams on my list twice. In all actuality, I think his best position going forward long-term is as a 4, but I put him on my list as a 3, so he won't be on this list. But for me,
I have him listed as a 4.
Yeah, as a 4. Yeah, and I mean
definitely a 4.
Yeah, I think he'll start off as a 3. I think like next year
he'll
probably play the 3. But I mean, what position you start the game at and what position you finish the game at could be totally different. So, but I already put him on my list as small forward, so I just kind of have to take him off this list. All right, so for me at number 10, I'm going with the guy that we actually interviewed here on NBA Draft Junkies. We interviewed him a couple weeks ago. Yves Pont from Tennessee, athletic freak. He's an improving three-point shooter. He didn't have good numbers at all before this year, but he was playing behind Grant Williams and Admiral Schofield. But he had a big year this year. He was SEC Defensive Player of the Year. I think his best case scenario is a Robert Covington type. If he can become more of a consistent shooter, he's a good shot blocker. He averages over 2 blocks a game, even though he's 6'6". And I think that, he can carve a niche for himself as a defensive player. But if he can continue to be more of if he can continue to improve his 3-point shooting and space the floor, I think there's definitely a role for him. So I have him as number 10 on my list.
All right. So let me ask you this about him. What do you think? You say he needs to improve as a shooter.
Mm-hmm.
What were his splits as far as like for the 3-point line and his free throw percentage at Tennessee?
This year or just overall?
This year. The year he got to play more minutes.
This year he shot about 64% from the free throw line, shot 35% from 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, depending on how you look at it. If you look at the free throw percentage as the best indicator of 3-point shooting, which, for some guys it works, but I can give you, Jamias Ramsey. He shot like 60-something% from the free throw line, but he shot like 42% from 3 on like 5 attempts, and he was coming off action plays and everything. So I don't know, it's a lack of focus. But then you can also look at Killian Hayes. He shot probably like under 30% from 3, but he shot like 87% from the free throw line.
Right.
So,
and I know what's his name in college. What's the man's name from Toronto? That was at Indiana. He didn't shoot well from the free throw line, and he's kind of like turned the corner finally. at the 3-point line? OG Anunoby, yeah. So do you see him as a OG Anunoby type?
Yeah, I mean, I think he falls into that category of a switchy, athletic defender that his ceiling will be based off of how much he can improve as a three-point shooter and space the floor. All right, so who's your number 10?
Based off of that, I think I can agree with him, with you on Pons. Like I said, it's the difference between, I want to say 5 through 10, the power forward position, is a lot of it's going to go on like where guys land at, because a lot of them do the same thing as far as just like not necessarily tweeners, but athletic guys who need to become better shooters, who defend. So I can agree with you as him probably being the 10th best power forward. But again, it kind of depends on who you have listed as playing some power forward versus some center versus some small forward. So.
Yeah, that's why I like doing this, because my list is going to be totally different than yours. My list is going to be totally different than Joe's. We ask another person, they'll have a totally different list also.
What do you have at number 9?
It's your turn, man. I need to hear your list.
I told you I agree with you on Pons at number 10.
So you got Pons at number 10. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you was just trying to skip it out, have me do all the work.
Nah, bro.
All right, so number 9 on my list is another guy. By the time this podcast dropped, we should have his interview up. Paulie Bois out of Italy, Cameroonian. Man, freak athlete, bouncy. I mean, quick twitch. What I like about him is he plays hard. I mean, his motor runs nonstop. He's still a little raw on the offensive end, but he just started playing basketball in 2014. So roughly about 6 years. He shows potential to be able to knock down open shots. I don't know about three-pointers yet, but he can knock down some short corner, some elbow shots. But he's raw on the offensive end. You can see it with his decision-making, and sometimes he has these plays where he looks kind of wild and out of control. But I think that he does have a skill set that he can hang his hat on. One, being an energy guy, being a rebounder. He's about 6'8" with like a 7'3" wingspan. I think that he has all the tools to be a good defensive player. But then just like he has the athleticism that you can't teach. Quick twitch. Like I say, he plays hard. So he looks up to Siakam. And, you know, that's the whole connection, the Cameroonian connection. And that's pretty tough to compare somebody to Siakam. But, I mean, I think, like, based off of him being, like, a late bloomer, and, I mean, think about it. Siakam went to school in Dallas. Like, we've been around this Dallas high school
never heard of him.
And then here he is, like, he might win Most Improved Player this year. So, I mean, putting that type of pressure on Bois is tough, but I think that he does have, like, the baseline of skill set needed to be able to contribute.
I think at my number 9, I would go with, I know this is your boy, but I'm going to go with Precious Achiuwa as my 9th best power forward. Let me explain to you why. I think he's going to end up playing a lot of center for the beginning of his career, because right now he's just, I mean, he checks the boxes that you want. He's got the motor. He's a good athlete, but I don't know if he can play power forward right away, because he can't shoot his shot. He's got some funky mechanics. And when I watched him, I saw I saw Thomas Robinson. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of like, to me in 2020, Thomas Robinson, that kind of build is a center. So now if Achiuwa, he puts it together, maybe he could play the 4, but I'm kind of like knocking him because I think he's going to be an energy backup center unless you play him with a stretch 5, 4-ish. Like, I remember we did the mock draft and I had him going to the Pelicans. Like, if he played with Nico Melli, sure, he could play, you know, the 4 or whatever. But I think ultimately he's a 5. Like, he's not, like, skilled, but there's a lot of things to, like, really like about him. So that's my number 9. I know that's your boy, so.
Yeah, I'm a Precious guy. I get it, though. I mean, I mentioned before he might be boom or bust. You know, he could.
But where do you? what do you see I just think he's like, you know what you're gonna get from him, but I don't know how skilled he could become. Like he gets a lot of shots blocked at the rim.
Yeah, it's weird. I think that best case scenario, if he can knock down open threes with his ability to handle the ball a little bit and make, 2 dribbles, get to the rim and attack. And he does have some passing instincts. Like he does have, it's weird. He's not a good decision maker, but he shows flashes of making some plays. I think for him, the biggest thing is accepting who he is. I think he wants to be a 3. And sometimes
he crazy.
But like if you watch his high school stuff, he played the 3, and he had that New York in him. He was drilling the ball between his legs a bunch of times and bringing the ball up court. And so I think I just see the potential. I think in the best case scenario, a team, if they can just find a way to maximize the skills that he has and allow him, if he can be like the guy that he can knock down threes, attack, closeout, make a play.
Do you think he'll have the ability to attack closeouts in the half court?
I think that
I don't know if he has that rip through pop to and finish. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he needs to be a better finisher off 1 foot.
When I saw him, his best finishes were off of the roll man, and he had a wide open lane, and he could, he had a lot of space. Yeah. But if you're talking about playing the 4 and you high and in the corner for whatever reason, for one, they got to be able to respect the corner 3. But if they do respect the corner 3, I don't know if he has that rip through, get low, and finish, because he was getting shots smacked on the glass. Yeah, and really a lot of his rebound numbers boosted because those were his own misses that were getting beat. Yeah, so I think he's a 5.
I can see that. I definitely think that he should be able to steal some minutes at the 5. But for now, I have him as a 4. So who do you have? Oh, no, it's my turn, right?
Yes, this is number 8, right?
Here's a guy that I'm not so high on, and I think that he may – actually, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get drafted. And then I can even say, the guys that I named before could possibly not get drafted. This is going to be a tricky draft. But I have Trendon Watford from LSU. He's like the opposite of Precious in a sense. He has some skills, but he just doesn't have the athleticism. And he's – I think he's a guy that he will get – I don't know. He may or may not get drafted. I can see that. But I definitely see him as somebody that would need to spend some time in the D League or G League and develop and find that one thing that he brings to the table that he can provide every night. But he's talented. He can shoot the ball a little bit. He can put the ball on the floor some. He just lacks NBA athleticism.
I have as my 8th best power forward. I'm listing him as a power forward just because, or whatever, hybrid forward. Jordan Nwora from Louisville. I think he's going to play the 4. He only does one thing, and he does it well, which is shoot the ball. He's really limited off the dribble, which is another reason why I have him playing basically, power forward. And he'll be the ultimate, for a lack of a better person, I'm drawing blanks with what's my man's name out of Creighton? Bad feet, high socks. Journeyman. I'm drawing blanks with the names.
You're not talking about McDermott, are you?
No, black dude.
Oh, Anthony Tolliver.
Anthony Tolliver is out there to shoot threes. That's it. And I think that's what Jordan Nwora is like. He's got a 1 dribble max. He's got a really quick release. He can shoot the ball, and he'll be that guy that sets those ghost screens at the top of the key and high pick and roll. He's going to sprint to his spot and shoot threes. I think he's a power forward. Like I said, he can shoot, and there's always room for 6'8" guys that can shoot in 2020. but
I have him as a
he's
power
pretty
forward
limited
also.
everywhere else. You do?
He's
Okay.
Yeah. He's he's Jared Dudley. Current,
Dudley,
not the Jared Dudley at Boston College that was like
Jared
rebounding.
Dudley did everything.
He is current NBA.
Young old Jared Dudley.
Jared Dudley, where he's like, his role is to be an undersized floor spacer, and that you got to respect the gravity. But I think that he does have a one dribble that he's comfortable with.
Man, it might even be half a dribble.
But I mean, that's more than Tolliver.
I've never seen Tolliver dribble unless he like relocated for a three.
Once it touches his hand, it's going up. But he knows that's his role. He knows that if he tries to do anything else,
But you see, I think that's what Noir is gonna do. Like once it touches his hands, it's going up. I don't think he'll dribble because it's like the shots that he gets off of one dribble are like technically bad shots in the NBA.
Right.
Contested pull-ups, like 1 foot push shots from the foul line. So I don't see him dribbling. I think he's a 4. I mean, depending on in the back, obviously the late first round. If I'm in need of a shooter, why not? So yeah.
So you take him late first round?
I mean, really, the draft position in this draft is weird.
Right.
Because, like, after, 14, 15, 15 through 35
yeah,
is, like,
crap.
So, I mean, it just kind of depends on who's drafting. What do you need? It's a weird draft. 15 through 35 is all the same to me, though.
My next player, I'm swinging for the fences on this one. Amar Sia. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Long, skinny, agile, athletic. He's got the pop, explosiveness. He's a lefty. He is from, I know he plays in Spain. Dang, it slips my mind where he's from. Senegal. I'm tripping. He's from Senegal. And, man, like he passes the eye test. He is just skinny as a pencil. Like he's super skinny.
Skinnier than Jaden McDaniels?
This I don't want to say it because it may sound bad, but he's that he's just skinny, man. Like he's skinny, he lacks strength, and I want to be politically correct, but he's really talented, man. Like he's a lefty, and I think he needs some time for sure. And he'll definitely need to bulk up, but he has some skills. Like he's like this, best case scenario, he'd be like this 6'9", 6'10", floor spacer that can defend multiple positions with his length and agility. But then he's like a shot blocker that runs the floor. So he doesn't really have he's not posting up for sure. And he's, like I said, he has like all the quick second jump. He has like long strides when he's in transition. He can attack closeouts. He plays hard. He's active, maybe a little out of control. He definitely struggles with contact because he's so, not only is he skinny, but he's like physically weak also. There's like Brandon Ingram is who I call skinny tough. He was skinny, but he played.
I think Jaden McDaniels is skinny tough too.
Yeah. So this guy's not skinny tough. He doesn't pass. He doesn't really have like I said, offensive creativity. And it's weird. Like his shooting is erratic. Like sometimes you'll see him, you're like, okay, I think he's a floor spacer. But then sometimes you see his misses and you're like, whoa. So I'm swinging for the fences on him. He's definitely somebody I see a team like Toronto would draft. And then he'd be up with the 905, and then all of a sudden you're like, dang, this dude is a legitimate rotation player. I think with the right development, he could be a player. But like I said, I'm swinging for the fences on this one.
So we at 7?
So I've done number 7.
7? Okay. Mm-hmm. I think with my 7th, and again, my mindset is in power, is just you a forward. So and this is to be honest with you, my 7, my 5, 4, 5, 6, 7 are interchangeable. Or, it just depends on, who's drafting. But so just for the sake of number 7, I'm going to go with, I think Saddiq Bey. Again, I'm thinking forward. Mm-hmm. So, he isn't limited like the other guys where you just kind of pencil him in as like Moore's going to have to play the 4. Or I said Precious Achiuwa is mostly a 5, and hopefully he can play the 4. But I'm going to go with Saddiq Bey. He's the combination of, spot up, handle the ball, do everything kind of guy. So, again, 7 is kind of like, think 4 through 7 when I say 7. So, but yes.
I had Saddiq as a 3. I had him in my draft board going to Dallas, and I think that's a perfect fit for him.
Yeah.
He can, or Portland. Yeah, I think that I have him as a 3 on my list, but he could easily have been a 4. I think, like I said, in closing lineups, he could be a 4. I like him. Like, they had him running the offense. He was playing like point guard. He has that, all right, I can't get by you with my first step, so I'm just going to back you down. Like,
and then he has
in a sense.
Right. So then he can post. So if you put him in a lineup with, where you want to hide a point guard or somebody, like say you're playing the Mavs, like he plays for the Mavs, and they decide to go just flat out big, he's not somebody you can hide your point guard on.
Yeah, like
you know
if
what
you're
I'm
playing
saying?
a team that's going to try to switch everything, then you can, he can post up smaller guys, and then once you start helping, he's a good decision maker that he'll find the right guy. And he takes care of the ball. Like, his assist to turnover ratio was better than a lot of the point guards. And it's not like he didn't have the ball in his hands a lot. He's just a high IQ, just like a classic role player. I think he's going to be a –
What is he in comparison to Troy Brown?
He can shoot better.
He can shoot better, but like Troy Brown is like – what is – Troy Brown – he can shoot. But like what realistically, like what position does Troy Brown play? We don't know. He just be out there,
Yeah.
So sometimes he may line up at the 3. He may play some point guard in spots.
Well, I think that Bey is a better and I think Bey is like a better decision maker. Like Troy Brown, like his first year he struggled like running pick and rolls.
Yeah.
That Saddiq Bey is just a very
But he's younger than Saddiq Bey though, right?
Probably. He felt like he was like 17 when
he was a lot younger, so
he's super young. But yeah, that's a good comparison. If he's Troy Brown with a jump shot, then
you'll take that.
Yeah. Because he shot like 40s, like mid 40s from 3. And he was letting it fly too. So
he shot 5 a game.
Yeah, and what I like is that he wasn't just spotting up. Like he was coming off screens, and then he probably would have shot a higher percentage if he didn't shoot so many off the dribble. Like he took a lot of jumpers off the dribble, and that's why I think he struggles at because his shot is like real flat. Like he shoots a flat shot, and it can be contested if he's trying to do it off the dribble. But I think his weakness is he just lacks ideal pop and athleticism. Like when he tries to get to the rim, he just doesn't have that quickness where he can rise above. So, but I think that's the only major weakness I see from him on the offensive end of the floor.
What do you have at 6?
6, Jordan War. So somebody we talked about earlier.
My 6 is Jalen Smith out of Maryland. Sticks.
So Bony man. See, I'm shocked that you have him as a 4. I just knew.
Let me tell you why.
As a 5.
He. Nobody bangs anymore. He can't post up me. I'm being super, exaggerating, but I think so like, what position does Miles Turner play?
5.
Sabonis plays a 5.
I think Miles Turner's best position is at the 5.
The 5.
Yeah.
But in that team, he plays
Sabonis and Turner, their fit isn't the best because I think with Miles,
I think it works. Because
I think it works. I just don't know if they'll do it
Miles don't go inside the 3-point line or the free throw line, and Sabonis don't want to be outside of the free throw line.
Right. I don't know.
Except for the initiate offense.
I saw a video where Kevin McHale came to Dallas last summer to work Miles out, and he told him, "You need to get you on the block." So he had him work with all his post moves. I think, like, for Miles, I think you need him to be a 5 because he's such a good shot blocker, and you want him to be your rim protector. Right. It's an interesting fit. So I don't know what they're going to do with them long term. I think that if they look bad in the playoffs, they may start thinking about, moving one of them.
Moving TJ to the 4.
But then again, they may say, oh, well, Oladipo wasn't right. So I don't know, but I don't think Jalen Smith is a 4, man. I think that he's just going to have to be an off the bench 5. But I don't know if he shoots it well enough you can say, I'm going to make you a stretch 4. I mean, possibly he can develop into that.
He could develop into it, yes. But, okay, so let me ask you this. When I see Jalen Smith, again, Miles is not necessarily the perfect comparison, but, like, Dario Saric plays the 4, Right. So, like, Dario, and he plays a 5, too. Depending on whatever. But he plays the 4, and he can play the 5. I think Jalen Smith can play the 4, because the difference between him and I was saying Precious Achiuwa is that off of this here, Jalen Smith can get to the basket. Like, he shows more fluidity off of the one dribble rip through than any of the other guys that we've talked about so far. And on top of that, he's a better shooter than them. So in stretches, I think he can play the 4. Obviously, he wants to play the 5. He's just so skinny, man. Like, you can switch guards on him. Like, he's so light in the pants, man. I was watching the film against Michigan State, and Xavier Tillman, he a grown man with a family, and he was just
literally
shiver. Yeah, a grown man with a family for real, and Sticks couldn't score on him, man, at all.
And luckily, he won't get any post-ups in the NBA.
He won't get any post-up opportunities. But I think, like, he is the perfect 4 hybrid guy where you get a good point guard that can work with some high pick and roll with him. He can shoot the ball. And, maybe he gets some meat on him eventually, or he'll be able to post up and take advantage of mismatches. But, like, I think, depending on the matchup, I think he can play some 4. So, like, again, if you're whatever, he's playing against the Suns, you can guard a Sarge. Or, you're playing against Portland. I don't know what Portland's doing. They may play Nurkic at the 4. I'm not talking about, Jalen Smith as a starter. But there are going to be opportunities that teams are still going to be bigger. Or, like, you play against Minnesota, and they say they start Juancho at the 4. Like, he can guard a Juancho. You know what I'm saying? So I think he should be able to play some 4. But ultimately, you want him to play the 5.
He's a strictly 5 on my list. I was shocked to see you had him as a 4.
Well, hey.
So who do you have next?
After Sticks.
It might be similar from here on out.
After Sticks, man. I know my top 3. 4 and 5, you can switch them. It's like, okay, what do you want? Offense or do you want defense? So if you want offense, I'm going to go with Jaden McDaniels as my 3-4 combo guy. He's so skinny, man. And he's skinny strong, but he was running into a lot of brick walls. He can handle the ball. He can shoot. He's a bad shot taker. And he's a turnover machine.
And a fouling machine.
And a fouling machine. And he needs to gain weight.
But when it comes to like just overall natural talent,
I'm telling you, when it looks good, it looks great. Yeah, he got it. Yeah,
he got it. He can shoot the pull up. He can handle.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of talent. Just the numbers just did not match. To me, honestly, coming into this year, I felt like, oh man, this dude could be a top 5 pick. Just off natural talent and skill alone.
Top 10, yeah.
But the numbers just didn't the numbers just didn't do it for me. And he's got some holes in his game. And I mean,
he
like
doesn't see anything but the rim.
Yeah.
For
Like now,
sure.
you said that you think Precious could be like a Thomas Robinson. I think McDaniels could have some boom or bust too.
I agree.
Like he could be guy that figures it out, and you're like, dang, this dude is a high level starter. Or he could be that guy that just kind of bounces around, and then all of a sudden he has like a great career in China. Because
that's true too.
Over there, he'd be the man. He'd be able to just out-talent everybody, and he'd get 20 to 30 shots a game, which will allow him to just dominate.
Right.
But I do question how he's going to fit in the NBA as far as like fit around other players. Like, what's that one thing that he does great?
Well,
other than
if you reprogram
talented?
him, if you reprogram him and say, look, man, I need you to make threes and play defense, I think he could, and everything else, will work on it. But see, the thing is with guys like him is that they're so talented that it's hard for them to pull back. Whereas you take a guy like Isaac Okoro, and you know what he knows what he is. I'm gonna play this hard defense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you can add on to what I have. Whereas Jaden McDaniels, he has a bunch of stuff, but it's kind of like, is he good enough for that stuff to work at this level?
Yeah, so and what? This is a bad comparison. I'm not comparing them overall, but I'm comparing the acceptance overall. Like, I've been fortunate enough to watch J.R. Smith play pickup basketball. Mm-hmm. Dude is a bucket. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got a lot of game. He's got way more game than he's ever shown in the NBA. Now, he gets a lot of criticism, but one of the things I don't think he gets enough credit for is he accepted a role as just a spot-up shooter.
Right.
They may put him in pick and rolls every once in a while, but you never get a chance to see him, like, show everything that he can do on the court. And so he's made a lot of money. I mean, he could have made more money if, if his reputation was a lot different. But he did accept that role that is less than what his overall talent is.
Right.
Now, if McDaniels can do that, that would be great. But I think that he just, unlike JR, he doesn't have that one thing where he can say, okay, I'm just accept this role to be a spot-up shooter.
Right.
Because, JR can, JR got a ratchet. So.
And even last year, he shot 34% from three. I mean, that's not great, but that's better than some guys that's better than some of the point guards. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if he can accept the role, and then another thing that hurts him is that Washington played 75% zone. So it's like, you don't know what kind of defender he really is, but just from the eye test and physical attributes, he should be able to defend 2 and 3 and 4, depending on, the matchup. But he should be able to defend at least 2 positions. And, if he's 6'10", like they say he is, yeah. But, man, it's almost like Kevin Durant is the worst thing to ever happen to basketball development, because every 6'9" dude with a little bit of wiggle is I'm about to be Kevin Durant. And it's nah, there's only one Kevin Durant. There's only one Kevin Durant. Yeah. So.
But even then, from the aspect that Durant, every game, he's going to impact the game. He's going to.
Durant, as a freshman in college, was the best player.
Beasley was the best freshman. Durant
1A, 1B. Man, look,
Beasley
when I was at Iowa
monster.
State and we played Texas, we played a full court boxing one on Durant and held him to 19.
He's a dog.
He had 10 shots and he had 19.
Yeah, he's
and
a dog.
Dude that was guarding him did not look at anything but Durant. He still got it. Beasley was just too good. He was a matchup. Yeah, he was a problem, man.
He was
That dude
knocking down
shooting
threes.
He was grabbing
spacing
every
out.
rebound.
Yeah.
He was too good.
And McDaniels just doesn't have that. At least not. I haven't seen it. KD is a dog. Like, he's going to make an impact on every game.
Right.
McDaniels has a tendency to float. Like, his talent and his impact, they're just not consistent for me. But I have him as a 3. On my list.
I'm a hybrid guy.
Yeah.
I'm more so point guard, wing, center.
Right. So my next guy is, and I like all the guys in my top 5. I'm really high.
So we're at 5?
Yep. My number 5 is Paul Reed.
Okay.
On DePaul. I like him. He rebounds, he blocks shots, he gets steals. I think that he can develop into a good floor spacer. He's athletic. I think he's underrated. I would take him definitely mid-first round if I'm an NBA team and I have a need for the 4. But yeah, I like Paul Reed a lot.
All right, my number. Okay, so that's your 5th. So I should be on my 4th then.
Yeah.
So my number 4, and again, it's what do you prefer? Is Patrick Williams, out of Florida State. So again, we just talked about Jaden McDaniels, how he's just got so much talent, and it's like, it's harnessing that talent or so much skill, So going from can he dial it down from being the ball's always in my hands to manly pick and roll. I think Patrick Williams, especially going to Florida State, because they play you 9-10 guys every night, you're going to get you 20 minutes. I think he's got a lot of upside. I know he was a lot younger than everybody else.
Yeah.
But, I think defensively he's going to be good. Offensively, he's still raw. His shooting.
He stays within himself.
Yeah, he knows exactly who he is.
Yeah.
So he may not have, the super home run upside, you may want to have, depending on where he's selected at, but he stays within himself. He's going to rebound. He's going to, defend him. He's a very good perimeter defender, so he should be able to be switchable. And on offense, man, I just wish he could shoot better. His jump shot is super slow, and he shoots that thing sky high. He shoots it too high. But I mean, he looks like he has good touch. I like him though.
Yeah, I had a chance to watch him work out last year for a week. And at the time, I didn't see it. I saw the body. I saw the NBA, physical attributes. And I remember a friend was like, he's a one and done. I was like, I don't see it as a one and done. I think he's going to be an NBA player. But, I was wrong. He could end up being a lottery pick.
Yeah.
But he just knows his role, which is incredible considering he was he might have been 17 or 8.
Yeah,
I think he was 17 he was 17 when I met him. But he understands his role. I believe in his upside as a shooter. I believe that he can do the one dribble pull up and make the pull up J. He plays hard. He rebounds. And then, like you said, Florida State plays so many guys that I think it helped in one sense, but at the same time, it may have hurt him as far as numbers. And then, of course, the more minutes you play, the more you get to showcase everything you can do. But I think that eventually he'll be a 4. But like I said, I think that the team next year is going to probably start him at 3. But I like Patrick Williams a lot.
Yeah, I think he's a 4. I think for kind of a poor comparison, you kind of see the same trajectory that and he's not as tall, obviously, but Jonathan Isaac, how he's just, I'm going to defend, I'm going to be a problem on defense, I'm going to continue to get better offensively. I wish you could dribble more, but, I kind of can't dribble enough for them to trust me. So I think, it is kind of poor, but, Jonathan Isaac he's a good basketball player, man. But he's not going to be the 21 a game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's a guy that's going to be a good piece to a puzzle.
Yeah.
But there's
still enough upside in those guys where you could, maybe if he worked on this, or maybe he becomes a better. He's not like limited off the dribble. It's just that he didn't have the confidence to dribble.
And what's your nickname for Jonathan Isaac?
Black Kirilenko.
That is hilarious.
Black Kirilenko right there.
All right, so
man, he was just kind of locking up Siakam last year in the playoffs till Siakam kind of figured him out. But yeah,
he's gonna be a multi-time first-team all-defensive player.
Yeah.
So who's next on your list?
All right, so that was my fourth, and again 4, 5, 6, 7 alternate. All right, again forwards. I don't do the power forward thing. I have Isaac Okoro. Wait, I'm looking at this. Do I want that? Yes, I have him number 3. I think he's Ron Artest, the second coming of Ron Artest. He's he plays hard. He's super strong. Should be able to defend on the perimeter
a little bit.
Can handle a little bit. Yeah, I think he's the next coming of Ron Artest. He's got to improve as a shooter, and the problem with him is that he loses confidence in his jump shot.
Yes, he will. There was a couple pass times, up an open shot.
Man, he will pump fake you to death. And there was a couple of times where I forget, was it Clemson? Dude was just like closing out on him like he was Ben Simmons. He was daring him to shoot. And in the league, you can't do that. You can't play like that, especially when you're not the ball creator. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like a primary ball handler. So I like him. Like I said, I was watching him. I was getting those Ron Artest vibes where he can do a lot of different things in the pinch. But excuse me, defensively, he's going to be very, very good. I liked his full court athleticism a lot more than his like half court athleticism. Right. But yeah, I think he, again, 2, 3, 4 in the NBA is kind of interchangeable. So I think he's the third best player at that. You might be able to talk me into him being my second best forward, depending on how I'm feeling.
I have him as a 3. I have him as my number 2, 3. But number 4 on my list is Tyler Bay. I think he's
okay.
And I said this on my last small forward list. There's only one.
We should be number 3. Oh, go ahead.
I'm at number 4 though. There's only one Shawn Marion in the world. Shawn Marion is a one of one. And I don't like comparing anybody to Shawn Marion. But Tyler Bay might be a homeless man's, not poor man's, homeless man's Shawn Marion. He's undersized at 6'7", great rebounder. He's active cutter. He can post up smaller players, doesn't have the bulk or strength to like really be a 4. He shot a good percentage from 3. I think he shot like 41% from 3, but he only took like 1 a game, I believe. At the most, he took 2 a game. I think that he can develop into a pretty good shooter. He has touch, just to touch around the rim. I think he's a decent free throw shooter. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head. But he's one of the players that I don't think you have to run any plays for him. He'll be active. He'll just do all the dirty work, be all over the place on offense and defense, can defend multiple positions. Rebounds. I think, like, if you go small, you won't lose, and you won't have a disadvantage on the boards with him because he's so active. Mm-hmm. So that's why I have him at number 4. And like you said, 4 and 5 can flip-flop. And it just varies. Like some days I may have Paul Reed is better. Some days I may have Tyler Bay is better. But to me, those 2 guys are interchangeable on my list at 4 and 5. All right, so I'll go again.
Yeah. And this is your 3 because I'm down to my last 2.
Yeah, so this is my 3. This is another guy. He could be a 5, but, I mean, if you think Jonathan Isaac is skinny, and Omar Sylla is skinny, this guy's even skinnier. But I think he's someone that is going to rise on draft boards because he's so talented. And I don't know if you had a chance to, like, really watch him, but Alexei Pokuševski. I just
I
call him
haven't gotten
AP.
to him yet.
Yo, you got to watch him. Like, he's a talent guy, right? So he's a
Is it
natural.
talent?
He's super talented and natural, just natural God-given skill. So think he's Serbian. So think Jokic as far as passing and passing instincts. He's 7 foot, but he's super skinny. His natural position is center. Point center. Like, how many guys can you say that for? Their natural position is like a point center or point forward. He's fluid. Like, he grabs the rebound. He pushes the ball up court. He can handle the ball. He can make great passes, one-hand passes. He can run the pick and roll. And he can shoot a little bit. His shot is flat. He doesn't shoot a good percentage, but it's like you just have this player with all these tools. And you have to believe that your team, you have to believe that your player development staff can help him maximize all his gifts. Because best case scenario, he's a guy that will be able to post up, has like nice touch shots in the paint, space the floor, someone that you can run 4-5 pick and rolls or 5-1 pick and rolls, and he can make every pass. And then when he's engaged on defense, he's a shot blocker. So, like, when I saw him play in Greece last year, he had a game where he had like a triple-double.
Blocks or assists?
Assists. But he may have had he averaged like a couple blocks and a couple steals a game. Like, he's super talented and skilled. The issue with him is he's kind of soft. Like, he doesn't like contact. Sometimes he just kind of floats in games. Like, he doesn't like make a great impact with his intensity, but he's just really, really skilled. And he has a skill set that a lot of guys don't, that you just rarely see. Some people may have him as a 5, and so I know that it's a power forward list, and so you probably didn't get a chance to rank him because you probably thought he was a 5 just based on his height. Yep. But no, he's super skilled, and I think that he'll struggle adjusting to the NBA, the physicality of it. I think that those guys are dogs in the NBA, and he's going to have a major adjustment period. But talent-wise, he's got it. Like, he can do, like I said, he can do stuff that we rarely see.
Right,
I don't even know who to compare to. I don't know who to compare.
Let me ask you 2 questions.
Yep.
Can he hoop? Can he play basketball?
He can play basketball.
So he can't hoop yet?
I don't think he can hoop. So for those listening who are probably like, what? So, we got our own little, we're brothers. So we got our own little terminology. So when we say a guy can hoop, this is a guy that if he's on a bad team, he's still gonna go out and get his numbers. He's gonna play. He's gonna turn into a pickup game. And then there's guys that can play basketball, but they can't hoop, which means I think if they're on a bad team, like let's say you're on the Hawks, or let's say you're on
you're the Suns.
on the Suns team.
Yeah.
And you're trying to play basketball the right way when the team is down 15 and you're not looking to get your numbers, you may struggle because you're always trying to make the right pass and do all the right things, which is a good thing, but it can be a bad thing if you're on a really bad team.
Right.
So you got to learn how to go get buckets and kind of call your own number. And so,
so prime example, Dragon Bender.
Yeah.
He can't hoop, but he can play basketball. And he's played for what? 2 bad. I don't count the Bucks because he didn't even play. So he played for the Suns. Sometimes he looked okay, but I mean that was like 1 out of every 8-9 games. And then when he played in Golden State this last year, so it's like, he got stuck on 2 bad teams, and he was a 3rd pick in the draft. It's like, is he 3rd?
Yeah, I think he was.
Can he hoop?
I think with him, he's going to be good. I mean, he's not going to live up to his draft position, but I think he's going to be good once he gets on a good team where he doesn't have a role or he's not expected to go out and get buckets. If the Spurs were good, I think he's a guy that would have went to San Antonio and you're like, all of a sudden he's a weapon.
Okay, but here's the thing though. So like hooping isn't just dribbling and whatever. Like to me, Davis Bertans, he can hoop. Like when he got to that situation in Washington, like he was coming off shooting threes like Reggie Miller. And those were shots he has a ratchet, but those were shots he wasn't taking. Those were shots he wasn't taking in San Antonio. So somewhere along the line, I think he could always hoop, or he was like, you know what, I'm hooping. He's sticking his leg out, shooting from deep.
Well, the Spurs he can hoop in a box. So the Spurs like Dwayne Dedmon. Nobody knew he could shoot when he was in San Antonio. I knew because I seen him, here in Dallas. Couple of summers. We worked him out once, right?
Yeah.
And he was we had him shoot on threes. He was making them. But they wouldn't even let him attempt to shoot a three. He got to Atlanta, and Bud let him shoot threes. And then, now that's pretty much all he does.
That's what he does, right.
The Spurs weren't going to let Bertans get loose. And I think that Bender, if he would have been on like one of those good San Antonio teams, I think they would have found a way to plug him into a system and just kind of maximize the skills that he has. But I think he's going to stick with Golden State. I really do.
Where?
Well,
because they like Chris a lot.
Well, Chris going to be the 5.
But okay, so this is off tangent. So you think they pass on Wiseman because Chris is going to be cheaper?
I'm not sure what they
not saying where they pick at, but if he's available and they have a pick, do you think they pass on Wiseman and say we're going to go with Marquise Chris?
Oh, I don't know. I'm
and
not
everything
sure.
Marquise Chris comes with?
I mean, that's a tough choice. I don't think so. I just think they'll take the best player available. But I think he'll look a lot better once he's surrounded by their studs. Like that team this year, I love the fact that they were playing hard, but them dudes was playing for a contract. They were hooping. Like they play hard, but those dudes was playing. And actually, I wanted to see them. If they end up having a second bubble, I kind of want to see it because they are literally playing like, look, this is my next. It's my next contract.
So back to the can he hoop and can he play basketball?
I don't think
going into this year, I did not think that Eric Pascal could hoop. I thought he could play basketball, but on that Golden State team, he had to hoop. He a pro hopping machine. He the king of the pro hop.
Right. Once he loaded.
But he get that 2 foot, he gonna try to dunk on you. But that's hooping in basketball. Like at Villanova, he played a role.
Villanova. Yeah, you're not gonna hoop at Villanova.
But he was hooping this year, and they like him a lot.
Yeah, that's true. So I think Bender ended up making that team though. I really do.
I don't know, man. You got to think Kevon Looney's eventually going to come back and play his 22 games.
He's still on the
team. Fam, he get hurt. It's like he got like the weakest ribs core like in the history of human beings, man. He's still on the team though.
Yeah, I think. For some reason I just think Bender. I think he's going to stick. All right, so that's my number 3.
So go ahead. Let me see your number.
My number 2 is a guy that, man, you hating on my man. You know who I'm talking about. Had him all down on your list. Precious, man. I mean, what you think that he ain't gonna make the list no more?
You got Precious Achiuwa as the number 2 power forward.
Yes, sir.
I need to hear this, bro. Come on.
I'm a believer, man. I've been criticized like. One of my boys, like, oh, man, he's
everybody has that guy.
Al-Farouq Aminu.
At least Aminu would dribble.
No, like.
And Aminu has always been an irrational, confident three-point shooter.
Hey, all I know is when the Blazers didn't have Aminu and Harkless, it was bad.
Hey, you're right. You're right.
So I don't know why Aminu went to Orlando.
The difference between Bazemore and Aminu was huge.
And I mean, Aminu and Harkless were interchangeable. I don't even know who was playing what position. They just played the same position. They switched out.
Go screen.
Aminu rebounds, and he
blocked a shot every now and again.
Yeah.
I don't know why he went to Orlando.
So I think Precious has this talent. All right, put it like
man, that dude is a 5, bro.
If Precious went to, and I said this earlier, Toronto, they would somehow develop him into a weapon. They would find ways to run some type of 5-4 something. I mean, I don't know what they got going on at Raptors 905, but they're like developing.
But I mean, like, okay, we knew Boucher was good. He was just super skinny. Like
they found a way to use that skinniness into a weapon. I mean, like,
he come and block some shots and make some. But that's always who he's been, though. He's
older. He was older.
Yeah, and he's older, right?
They had like a bunch of injuries, and no matter who they brought up and just filled in that slot, they were hooping. They was winning. Like Terrence Davis, was he on your list last year? He wasn't on anybody's list last year, and
they definitely found one with him.
They found him.
We're talking about 4s and 5s.
All right, but Siakam.
Talking about 4s and 5s.
Siakam. Did anybody see Siakam as how much did he average this year? What did he average
like 25?
Yes. On a winning team.
Nobody saw that. Yeah.
On a winning team. You couldn't even told me Siakam was going to average 25 on the worst team in the league. I wouldn't have believed you. But he was putting up a 25 a night on a winning team, competitive team. They got the juice. They got
the Raptors. The Raptors find, it's crazy. They find relatively old guys with like potential still.
Which a lot of people think Precious is old.
So he's not 19?
I don't know, but I've heard the rumors that he's older. I think he is a little older
for his class.
Yeah, I think so. But
he might not be old enough for that Raptors Midas touch. You got to be like 23, 24 for that mug to tip off. Because look, Fred VanVleet went for one drafted. He about to get 100 of them things.
They got him listed as 20, but they're saying he'll be 21 in September. So yeah, he's older for his class.
So he 3 years away from hitting his Raptor cheat code then.
I don't know, but I think that I'm trying to think what other team has a good development. I mean, I guess I'm biased because I'm a Blazers fan, but I think they do a pretty good job with developing guys.
So what's the difference between Achiuwa and Nasir Little? I mean, like as far as your 4 of the long future. Because Nasir Little in college, he didn't have any. He was ugly out there in North Carolina.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like his reputation was so high based off of that game against Zion. I think that's just kind of like catapulted him to like this, big time prospect. But I think the difference is, at the minimum, Precious is going to be an energy guy. At the minimum, I think he'll be just that guy that could be that fan favorite that makes all the hustle plays, that gets the crowd involved because he got a shot blocked 6 times but got the rebound 6 times, and then he got fouled on the last one.
And then after he missed the free throw, he'll get a chase down block.
Yeah, like I just think I like Precious. I may be a little biased. I have him probably higher than others. I just think that it's going to take the right coach, the right development team, and for him to accept the role. But I watched his AAU, and remember watching his AAU, he still was taking wild shots, but he was handling that rock. Now he thought he was young Lamar Odom. He thought he was young Lamar. Not saying that I think that he can be that type of player, but I do think with his ball handling and the fact that he can get the rebound and push the ball up himself sometimes.
Yeah, I see.
And I like guys like that. I think if you can find a guy that can rebound and run, I think it makes your offense so much better out in the open court. And so if he can watch a lot of film, he shows some ability to be able to make plays for others, but he's still wild. And I think he's off balance because his finishing at the rim isn't great. I just think it just all needs to be honed in. And I think
it's crazy you have him as a 4 and Jalen Smith is a pure 5 to you.
Yeah, I think Jalen Smith for 5. All right, who's next on your list?
My number 2 is Obi Toppin.
Okay.
Man,
Amari, poor man's Amari.
Oh no, he's old Amari. Old Amari, yeah, he old Amari. Old Amari meaning he didn't have that young Amari pop, but he's got some pop.
What? He got crazy bounce and pop.
No. We talking about Amari Stoudemire pop.
He
doesn't have Phoenix Suns Amari Stoudemire pop rock. No way. Man, I don't care what you do in the full court. Amari was banging on dudes every single night. He was banging in traffic. He was exploding and banging. Nobody has Amari.
Well,
no. He old Amari. He like Miami, Dallas. New York Knicks Amari. Yeah, he a New York Knicks Amari.
No. Obi is banging. The thing that he can't do that Amari could do was Amari was fluid. So if you put Amari in a pick and roll, he can rip and make a move and then bang on you. Obi got to just jump straight up to the moon.
Yo, Phoenix Suns Amari could pick up a bounce pass off his shoe and bang on 3 people. I don't know.
Because he got the best hands in the world. Like Steve Nash talked about like how great his hands were. I think athletically, just vertically, Obi Toppin is unreal. It's just his hips are, in the words of Project Pat, tighter than school lockers.
See, my thing is with Obi, he's 22.
Right.
So, you think he's 22, he's supposed to do that, what he did in college, which is great. But, offensively, he checks a lot of boxes, you know what I'm saying? He should be able to pick and pop, pick and roll. He should be able to do all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. He just might be the worst defender I've ever seen in my life to be that athletic.
Yeah, I've never
he moves like Dirk. Old Dirk, like as far as like backpedaling and then like retreating. Yeah. He's gonna be food in the pick and roll, man.
Well, I think that athletically he's unreal. Like you said, I've never seen someone who's so athletic but lacks fluidity.
But like
it's like move well laterally.
His feet, he runs like on defense. He runs like his feet don't like. He use his toes like he's sliding.
Yeah,
he's just so stiff, man. But offensively, there's a lot to like. He's patient in the post. Again, you don't see too much posting up, but like there's a lot to like about him. But on defense, man, he's gonna be bad.
So you're saying that his offense is so high that it's going to outweigh what he brings on the defensive end, because you can say that he's the opposite of Okoro.
Yeah, but the thing is, with like the most important position to defend in the NBA is the 4 and the 5. So it's kind of like your defense can't be that bad. Like
So why do you have him ahead of Okoro? I'm putting you on the hot seat now. Why do you have him ahead of Okoro?
Because I feel like his offense is always going to be better than Okoro's offense. And that, given the right situation, you may be able to hide him with if he can play the 4, you can hide him with a really good defensive 5. So like the perception of John Collins is that he's not a good defender. He's not a bad defender at all. He's blocking 2 shots a game. He just plays with Trae Young, who's like the worst defender like ever in the at the point guard position. So like that weighs you down in their young team. But like John Collins is like a good defender, but they paired him with Capella to play the 5. So now, like, he's going to look like a better defender.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, where would he go? Okay, let's say he falls to Portland, Obi Toppin.
Not a good fit.
Why not?
I don't want to hear that no more. They already
Why is
got
it
too
not a
many
good fit?
bigs. They already got Zach Collins. They got Nurk.
What is Zach Collins?
I mean, I think he's a 5, but they're playing him at
backup
the 4.
5 though. He's a backup.
I think he could be a starting 5 on some teams, but I think because I don't know, I'm not a big fan of the fit, but they got him.
He's a 5 to me.
Yeah, he's definitely a 5 to me.
But okay, let's say he falls to Portland, right? And so Nurkic is a good defender, right? That would be a good compliment for him. You know what I'm saying? He'd have to be paired with a really good 5 for him to for you to get the most out of his offensive ability and for it to make sense. But I think he's gonna fall. He may end up in a good position.
I got him going to Phoenix.
So, okay, if he goes to Phoenix, right, and DeAndre Ayton has his defensive issues, he's gotten better. But, like,
gotten a lot better.
You want them two bad-footed dudes out there?
I mean, if I'm Phoenix,
pick and roll?
I need to bring some excitement to the arena.
All right,
and I'm going to get him a point guard. I think if they have I like Rubio, but
I'm cool on Rubio. I think it's time.
I think, just think in the draft, if they –
They got a bunch of picks this year?
No.
Who was it that had a bunch of picks this year? Okay.
Boston.
I'm just speaking hypothetical. Oklahoma City has a bunch of picks, right? And I don't know where my man Gallinari is with his contract, but there you go. So if you pair Obi with Steven Adams, he's not going to look as bad on defense, right?
Yeah, Phoenix only has one.
So that's why I have him at number 2. So that would be like a good fit for him. He's going to be like, he has to play with a good defender. But if he's out there with Cat's not a bad defender, but Cat want to score. If he out there with Cat, man, they giving up 150 every.
Man, if they score 151, that's all they need. Now, I think Obi Toppin's a pretty good passer too.
Yeah, like he does everything well on offense. It's just his defense is so bad.
Yeah, I just think teams are gonna attack him and pick and rolls.
Fam, he can't bend his knees except to dunk.
But when he gets, man, he can touch the moon, man.
Yeah.
So who's your number 1 then?
I got Denny.
Oh, so you're a believer now?
I'm coming along to him. He been hooping, but I still don't. He's still like the same dude to me. But I believe in his upside more and more. I still don't know about the playmaking dude that y'all see. I still see a dude that's only going right, but he plays super hard. He's shooting better.
He can pass, man.
He's playing hard. He's good in transition. I think I take him as the top power forward, hybrid forward prospect.
So I guess we got to change the name of this podcast because it can't be the top power forward because James got his own list.
Nah, I do my own thing, man. Who's a power forward in the NBA? There's like 5 of them left. Jason Tatum played a 4, man.
Right. I agree.
So it's like there's big spectrum. There's a gap. So like Dario Saric is a power forward. He starts at power forward. Jason Tatum's a power forward. But Jason Tatum run pick and roll. He does everything. So it's like, what's really a power forward?
Jason Tatum, he can play basketball and he can hoop.
There you go. We're talking about the Rockets. What position does anybody play for on the Rockets? They got 2 positions, ball handler, shooter. That's it.
I don't know. Robert Covington got that shot blocking, that rim protector badge by his name.
He does, but he only shoots. He don't dribble.
At all.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, what's a power forward in 2020? Who else? What position does Siakam play, man? That dude handles the ball.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing.
So that's why I don't, But you know what I do know? Precious Achiuwa, he ain't the number 2 power forward.
I believe in Precious. So my number 1 is Obi. So everything that you said, I can't even disagree. I think I haven't gone to Phoenix. I think that would be a good fit for him. I guess Portland might not be too bad if he can space the
Portland
floor.
would be perfect. Think about it. You get to run pick and roll with. First of all, look, you got a double team Dame 10 feet behind the line. He can get downhill. He can bang out. Then you say he shows flashes of being able to pass. He can hit the corner guy, Ariza.
Yeah, Blazers just so bad on defense this year. And so I
think their problem is offensive, man. They don't pass.
Yeah, the ball don't move. But defensively, they were bad. I mean, Ariza came and made somewhat of a difference, but they just couldn't stop anybody. And Dame had to score like 50.
50 for it to be a close game.
Be a close game.
So again, now imagine you double and part of the problem has always been is that you could double Dame because you're gonna let Aminu shoot them threes at the top of the key. We want you to shoot those.
He was making them though, like that series against Pelicans. He was making them.
Yeah.
The problem was once they took the ball out of Dame's hands, and then CJ had the ball. They only had nobody else could make a pass. Nobody could create, and that's why I felt like the Blazers need to go after somebody like James Johnson, some type of four-man that can defend and make a play.
Not just defense.
Defend,
play defense, yeah,
and make somewhat of a play for others. Like James Johnson has some passing instincts.
You already know how I feel about James Johnson. That's one of my favorite players in the NBA.
Right,
like that dude does everything.
So yeah, I think offensively, Obi Toppin will help, but I wonder, like I said, I'm a Blazers fan, so I wonder fourth quarter, late in games, and you play, you got to get past Houston. And then you got Obi Toppin on that island.
But that's with anybody against Houston,
But all right, let's say it's not Houston. Let's say it's
Houston ran Gobert off the floor, dude.
Right, all right, let's say it's Golden State. They're going to seek and find him every single play.
They're going to seek and find him whoever they play any night of the week.
Then when you got that one that can't move laterally, so now can he play the fourth quarters?
I watched Game 7 of the Rockets and Golden State when they had Chris Paul in the game he sat. Mm-hmm. Steph Curry ran Ryan Anderson out the NBA. Exactly. It was over because Steph had 8 points on him in 3 possessions, and it was over. Ryan Anderson is a family man now.
At least he got that. He got 80.
He got a stack. Yeah, he paid, but
16.
He that last step back, Steph, it was over for him.
And that's what I fear with Obi Toppin. It's funny we got him number 1 on our list, but we're being more critical. But offensively,
he checks every box.
He can post, like you said, but I mean he's not really posting. But I think his passing is underrated, like I said. So I think offensively he can help the Blazers, but it's just defensively, can you play him late in games? But I think because of his age, and I think he'll go to a bad team, he would be a guy who I think could win Rookie of the Year.
Charlotte, man, I'm telling you, he fits the mold of Charlotte. Old, power forward, hoops.
So again, like
they've been drafted in the past 4 or 5 years.
You got PJ at the 5 then.
Man, they all 5s because they played Miles at the 3 last year. He not a 3 to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I've always thought Miles. I thought Miles was a 4.
4. They played him at the 3 last year. And PJ's a 4. PJ shot the ball really well though. He shot the ball way better than I thought he would.
Yeah, he definitely put in work on his jumper. Well, all right. We did our top 10 list. It started off as a power forward list, but that's why James, of course he's my brother, so he's gonna be part of the team, but he got his own perspective on everything. He don't believe in 4s. He just he just
them pass first point guards. I'm good.
And like I said, that's why I just like what he brings to the table because he just has his own way of evaluating guys. He's not going for the traditional positions. I don't think anybody is. But, people, even though we all say small ball and basketball is positionless, I still think we as evaluators put guys, we still put them in a box based off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And James doesn't. But he has Abdia as his number 1. I still think Abdia is a 3. I
don't think he handles well enough to be a 3.
I think he does. I mean, like, there's some threes that ain't really handling the ball like that, but I think that he can.
But they're 3 and D guys though. Like, to me, if he's a top 5 pick and you believe in his playmaking, it's because he can dribble. But I think his playmaking is going to be best fitted if he's playing the 4 than the 3.
I can see that.
Because when I watch film of him and he's dribbling out the half court, like, you don't guard dudes out at half court who can dribble with both hands.
I mean, yeah.
And they guard him out there like he can't dribble.
But I also think, like, European basketball is different. When they see a young guy out there, you try to – it's just like pickup. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the NBA, if you got a 19-year-old out there, every team has a 19-year-old out there for the most part. But in Europe, if you're a kid, they are trying to, like, attack you because it's so competitive. Like, even with Luka, and I've told the story before, when I was out there, they was literally trying to pick on him, but he just wouldn't back down. And so, I have seen teams try to pick him up full court. But you know who it is that I see picking him up full court?
Who?
Athletic American
brothers.
Yeah,
the brothers is getting his stuff.
Because they know everybody's watching. They know the scouts are there. They know that, he's the top prospect in Europe, arguably between Killian Hayes. And he's playing in the EuroLeague, which is, arguably the most scouted league. It depends. You may say the G League or whatever. So, I mean, but you know what? Think about it. Luka, when you first started seeing people talk about him and what he couldn't do, they was like, oh, well, we saw him play against this former NBA player and he struggled and he couldn't get by him.
Yeah, but he was dribbling that thing, though.
Yeah, he was dribbling.
He was definitely a playmaker full time.
Well, his last year, because Sergio Llull got hurt, he wasn't playing that role the year before. Sergio Llull was the MVP in 2016-17. So Luka got a chance to be the primary ball handler when Sergio got hurt. I think if Wilbekin got hurt, then you see Denny play with the ball more. But again, like, teams watched him at the under-20s where he was really playing point forward, and he showed what type of passes he can make and his ability. So I think that's what kind of propelled him to being ranked so high, but then he had to play a totally different role for Maccabi this year. But now in the playoffs, his confidence is on 100 right now.
Yeah,
he's making threes.
He's shooting the ball well.
And he's a good defender. So based off of your list of combo hybrids or whatever, I agree. He's number 1. Well, all right. I appreciate you coming on. We got to do this again. Bro. Shout out to everybody that's been listening and that's been following NBA Draft Junkies. We're growing. We're at over like 11,500 subscribers on YouTube. Just started this podcast. I don't know. I think I'm on episode 11 or 12. I've had close to about 2,000 downloads. It's been downloaded in 18 different countries, which is amazing that I don't even know people in 18 different countries. So just the fact that people are listening and just kind of tuning in and following us. So I appreciate each and every listener. If you want to watch the video, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple or wherever you're on the podcast, or you want to watch the video version of this, check us out at NBA Draft Junkies on YouTube. And if you normally watch us on YouTube, but you want a chance to listen to us while you're at work or whatever, NBA Draft Junkies, we're on, like I said, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts at. So this is Raphael and my brother James, and we're signing out.